So, with the spring split wrapped up and League of Legends heading toward MSI, the next big international event, we're going to be talking about some League of Legends news. I'm the Nightwing, and with the spring split finals for the LCS, LEC, and LCK concluded, we'll be having videos about that up as well much later on during the day. Should be EU first or LCK first. I kind of want to save the LCS one because I have a lot of things I want to say about that overall. I got pretty much 2 out of the people that I predicted to make the finals. I got G2 winning the split, I had TL winning the split, I have IG winning the split for LPL, and yeah, I got Griffin wrong, but I didn't really expect Griffin to play Pantheon support. It's okay, but that's not the video for that. Today we're going to be talking about League of Legends is drawing in more viewers than the Super Bowl. Now, everybody knows the Super Bowl. It's one of the biggest American watch things during the entire year. It's one of the most highly viewed things still to this day after being on air for about... Isn't there 56 Super Bowls? Yeah, because last year was Super Bowl 50 or something like that. It's in the 50 range, right? And a long time ago, during 2015, when SKT won their second World Championship, was when the ratings came out, and the League of Legends World Championship back then drew in more viewers than the NBA Championship. That was around the time in which I'm pretty sure the Cavaliers and the Warriors were in the finals, or it was the Miami Heat and the San Antonio Spurs, and that's big. The basketball championships and the Super Bowl championships are some of the biggest things watched on television, and the fact that League of Legends can outgross them in viewers puts it on a different class of its own. That means not only when people were saying the game is dying, which it wasn't true, that's just not true, because if a game is dying, there's signs that shows it's dying before, and that was never going to happen. I think that was more people, they were kind of frustrated with the game. They were more frustrated that the game wasn't really going their way with terms of how the meta was shaping up and how the game was turning out. But this esports draws in more viewers than the Super Bowl, and it's expected to get even bigger. Key points. Over 10,000 League of Legends fans descended upon St. Louis, Missouri this weekend. More than 600,000 people watched the event online. The massive audience for esports events like this is expected to grow, drawing in massive sponsorships from companies like Nike. And as G2, Twitch, Logitech, I'm also a Cloud9 fan. You guys know that too. This jersey looks absolutely incredible. I love this team, as well as my other boys in blue. Over 10,000 League of Legends fans descended upon St. Louis, Missouri this weekend for one of the biggest annual sports events in North America. The North American League of Legends World Championship Series Spring Split Finals, though still a far cry from the stadium attendance numbers hit by many traditional sports leagues, online viewership for the NALCS Finals brought in a total of 600,000 concurrent viewers on Twitch and YouTube combined during the final game, which saw esports teams Team Liquid take home the title after 4 hours of competitive play. Go back to November, and viewership numbers from the League of Legends World Championship Finals held in South Korea, also hosted by the game's publisher Riot Games, showed that almost 100 million unique viewers tuned in to the event online. For comparisons, last year's Super Bowl had just over 98 million viewers, the smallest viewership number for the event since 2008. This was after viewership of 2017 Super Bowl had dipped to 103 million from just over 111 million the year prior. Now, okay, so I'm going to talk about that paragraph for just a moment. You guys know I do love esports a lot. I love me some Smash. I love watching me some, CS:GO every now and then. I love watching me some competitive League. The Super Bowl itself, I think that's just more of a product of people not having TV, but people still generally go out to watch Super Bowl in general. But 2017 was when my football team, the Eagles, took home their very first trophy, and man, I was almost in tears that day. It was almost like imagining Cloud9 winning the NALCS again. You could almost imagine, right? But I think that the Super Bowl was a product of those teams not being, having like big viewer bases. I think that might not be the most accurate answer, but I think once you move towards like other big name teams having graced the Super Bowl finals, like back in the day, the Steelers, the Packers, the Eagles, and, you have the Patriots, which are just almost a mainstay at the finals now. Those teams have big fan bases, and I think that the Rams doesn't necessarily have that big a fan base compared to those other big teams I've named out. So I think that the Super Bowl's final attendance really does depend on the teams themselves and personalities. It's kind of like people like to generate what they kind of like to see out of people, maybe in like competitive sports. They like to see like, oh, why does this person do what he does and this person does what he does? Like, well, you can kind of get that things in esports. You don't really kind of get that in traditional sports. You never really did get that, like, those one-off interviews and those big giant long podcasts. You don't really get that. And I think that the players themselves in those main traditional sports not necessarily having what people would consider good personalities in terms of like how they want to be perceived does kind of hurt their reputation to a certain extent, to the point where like, okay, why am I watching the Super Bowl if I only care about Tom Brady and he's gonna win it? It's that kind of thing. You want to kind of be a fan of who you like and want to watch them. And I think that that's something that traditional sports needs to kind of branch out and do better, is making a name for the players on their football teams. Your quarterbacks, your running backs, your tacklers, all that kind of stuff. But that's just my own personal opinion about it. Tickets for that League of Legends World Final sold out in less than 4 hours upon their release. We were actually, me and JTH and my other friend Amago and Smooth Balter, as you guys don't know him, he's never been on the channel before, and then another guy, what was his name, Finny Kuru, we were all going to go to the 2016 World Championship. The tickets sold out in 30 minutes for the World Championship in 2016 when SKT faced Samsung Galaxy. They sold out in 30 minutes. We literally could not get them. It was like, oh my god. No, it's probably less than 30 minutes, actually. It's like they were up, next minute we tried to click, it was gone. Alright. Promoting Riot to release an additional 3,000 tickets on top of an initial batch of 23,000. The World's Finals in 2017, held in Beijing Olympic Bird's Nest Stadium, sold out of a crowd of 40,000, the total number of seats made available for that day. While esports have been long popular in many Asian countries, the space has grown worldwide over the past few years, including in North America. League of Legends is one of the games driving esports industry, which will top $1 billion in revenue this year, according to Research Newzoo. Over a third of that revenue will be generated out of the North American market, as many publishers and esports companies reorganize and reinvent their league's operations, Newzoo projects. Beginning in 2018, Riot implemented a franchise-based structure for their North American league, led by the company head of esports in North America, Chris Hopper, with a buy-in fee of $10 million. Now, China already was leaning toward the franchise thing, and they were franchised before. Then EU saw that North America did it, and it was very popular, and then they did it, and then EU just this year broke viewer records as well. So the franchise thing really does work out compared to having a non-franchise model, and I hope that Korea one day becomes franchise, because I think that'll bring a lot more stabilization to Korea as well. But that's just my own personal opinion about it. I think a lot of last year was spent figuring out how franchise would work, what decisions required consultation with what groups, and how would things like sharing work when put into practice. Hooper told CNBC in an email, "Now that we have a full season under our belt, we have solved a lot of our small pain points. We'll have we have a greater ability to look into the future." Over a third of that $1 billion industry revenue stream will come from sponsorship deals, which have been a big driver for Riot's League of Legends franchise. The publisher landed MasterCard as a global sponsor last September, and Riot's Chinese League of Legends signed a partnership deal with Nike. Also, LPL is also sponsored by Doritos. You know those great chips you guys eat? They sponsor them. There is certainly a lot of interest around nearly every esports property right now, and we are going to do a lot of work to understand which opportunities make the most sense for us and also our fans, wrote Hooper, we want to make sure that any brand partnership is one that we are not only proud to bring in our audience, but is one that can provide value directly to those fans themselves. Hooper emphasizes, however, that the league is looking beyond sponsorship and beyond partnership deals to expand League of Legends ecosystem. The esports chief revealed that not only is Riot near to closing a deal with another title sponsor for the North American Summer Finals, but that a variety of digital opportunities were coming down the line to enhance the viewing and fan engagement experience. And at a time where more companies, teams, and colleges are establishing a smooth path to pro for current amateurs, Hooper mentioned that the league is also seeking to invest in more potential esports athletes. We're thinking through ways to build out our competitive pipeline beyond just the League of Legends Championship Series, he said. As a kid growing up, I had countless leagues and clubs to play soccer or basketball or baseball, and we think that our work in building out the collegiate competitions and scholarship offers, as well as our partnership with Playverse to make League of Legends an official high school varsity sport, will pay great dividends in the future. Oh my god, that's awesome. I wish I could play League when I was in high school. That would have been absolutely amazing. And that's the article. So what do you guys think about League of Legends gaining more viewers in the Super Bowl? I think that is more on the lines of, TV kind of on the decline. Like, a lot of people don't watch traditional sports like they used to, and that's why you're basically seeing numbers like that. I also think it's due to the fact that the teams going into the league that are football don't have those personalities unless you're just a big name person like Tom Brady, Nick Foles, and the names go on and on and on, right? But what's his name? What's the dude on the Broncos, man? I forgot his name. Peyton Manning, yeah, there's his name. But yeah, you gotta have like big names to really drive these teams' viewers and numbers up, and I think that the NFL should release more content, and I think that they need to expand toward YouTube in order to actually gain another viewer base for them. Having the players do like one-on-one questions, or having some interviews and stuff like that, just to build some players, some fans up. So if these players and brands ever do get to the Super Bowl, they have a lot more fans and viewers wanting to view them. Because if you're not a St. Louis Rams fan, or you're not a Patriots fan, you're not gonna probably watch the Super Bowl because you're probably mad that your team didn't make it. But I like football. I like watching it. My team didn't make it, but that's still not going to stop me from watching the Super Bowl, right? League of Legends doesn't really work that way. It's like, even if your team, whoever you're a fan of, whether I'm a fan of G2 and C9, don't make it into the finals, that's probably not going to happen. Or, if they fail to make it, to the World Championship Finals, I'm still going to watch the World Championship Finals. The thing with League is that people are still going to watch the finals, semifinals of League, no matter if your team is in it or not. And I think that that's a really big, great thing for the league to have, because it doesn't matter if your team is not in it. All it matters is that they're going to watch. And then I think League of Legends has drawn in such a huge fan base that it's only going to grow with what it has now. And the other article is, LOL fans watched 6.45 million hours of content during Championship Saturday. Oh god. April 13 was one of the busiest days for League of Legends esports. All 4 major regions were in playoffs and played their semi-final or grand final matches. The day began with the LCK grand final between Griffin and SKT, continued with an LPL and LEC semi-final, and culminated with the LCS grand final Super Derby between Team Liquid and TSM. LOL Esports April 13 schedule: LCK 3-0 over Griffin, JD 3-2 over FunPlus Phoenix, semi-final Origin 3-1 Fnatic, and LCS Grand Final Team Liquid 3-2 TSM. And this was a stacked day and made for some impressive viewership numbers on Twitch. According to Twitch Tracker, fans watched a total of 6.45 million hours of League that day, which is the second highest which was the second highest the website has recorded in the last 2.5 years. The last time League of Legends hours watched metric got so high was during the World's 2018 quarterfinals, when the IG and slash KT and RNG and G2 matches brought in 6.97 million hours. That's incredible. Those series were absolutely incredible, in large part thanks to the upsets they delivered. The next day of the quarterfinal action, which marked the West domination, Cloud9's 3-0 over Freaka and Fnatic's elimination of Edward Gaming, pulled in 6.40 million. Combined with Sunday, April 14th, with the LEC Grand Final between G2 and Origin was played, as well as the final minutes of the LCS Grand Final, League of Legends delivered more than 11 million hours of content to fans. The number the individual leagues brought over the weekend were also impressive, with LCS and LCK peaking about or higher than 600,000. Peak viewership numbers: 632K, 599K, 476K, 440, and 43K for the LPL. It's really interesting because I know people are going to look at the LPL number and go, isn't that pretty low? To be fair, LPL is in a weird time state where a lot of people can't watch, but the LPL is really fun to watch, actually. So do get around to watching that. So all in all, I'm going to talk about a quick thing that probably could have brought in more viewers, and that is for the LCS Grand Final. I think that, a lot of people didn't like the third place match. I personally enjoyed it. It's just more League of Legends content, and as per what all of these articles show, people like watching more League of Legends content. So, and I think that since the LCS is where I reside in, it is in California, a lot of people can't really see Cloud9, TSM, TL, Team Liquid, every single, when just on the fly, and they can go, right? So I think that it's a good thing for the LCS to keep the third place match. I don't know if it's ever going to come back. It's probably not, but I think that it's good if you're venturing out to states that can't really traditionally watch League live. It's just something that I think can give back to the people that have been watching so long. Is that, maybe Cloud9, wasn't going to be in the finals, but maybe just seeing them face FlyQuest in a third place match would have been just amazing. Like that, those kind of things matter to people as well. It doesn't matter if your team's not in the finals. What matters is that you're a fan and you want to see them. That's the big difference, So that's just my own little personal opinion about that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm the Nightwing, signing out. Like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. We'll be talking about the LCL, LCK, LEC, and LCS matches later on. Today or tomorrow, the videos will be up. See you guys later. Bye. Have a good day.